The Unholy Trinity. What is it? This Unholy Trinity. And I saw three unclean spirits like frogs come out of the mouth of the dragon, out of the mouth of the beast, and out of the mouth of the false prophet. For they are the spirits of devils, working miracles which go forth unto the kings of the earth and of the whole world to gather them to the battle of that great day of God Almighty.
Our story begins in 606 to 608 AD, in two places, with two prominent people, Pope Boniface I and the rise of Muhammad. Pope Boniface I was promoted to the office of Universal Bishop over the whole of Christendom by Phocas the Emperor. Muhammad was a self-proclaimed prophet of a new religion. In the rise of these two, we see Antichrist east and west. The Islamic warriors of the day were known as Saracens and invaded countries with Muhammad at the force. They rode on horses, had long hair like women, had breastplates, were crowned with turbans on their foreheads. And the initial invasions lasted 5 months exactly.
Now these two people, the Pope and Muhammad, both rose up in power at the same time with great authority. So we have an Antichrist power east and an Antichrist power west. And I would suggest to you that these locusts are symbolical of Muhammad's armies. So if we take the key, the dragon initially being the red dragon being the Roman Empire, the power of the Roman Empire, and the beast being a political religious system, and the false prophet being the rise of the Mohammedan power. But now we have coming out of the mouth of the dragon. Now the red dragon represented the Roman pagan power, which was motivated by the old dragon, the old serpent. So you can distinguish the two where you find the book of Revelation, the red dragon speaking of the Roman Empire, and then the old dragon where it says the old dragon, the serpent speaking of the devil. And out of the mouth of the beast, which was then the political religious system, and then out of the mouth of the false prophets. Now, I believe that this Revelation 16 is in the day that we're living. And I want to just modernize a little bit, or bring up to date, what I believe those three represent now. The dragon, the beast, and the false prophet. Well, I believe that the dragon represents paganistic, atheistic, political power. And that the beast represents a religious power. A Romanist religious power. And the false prophet, I believe, represents Islamic power. And so we have this coming out of number one, I believe, the United Nations, the mouth of the dragon, political power. Out of the mouth of the beast, the papal system, and out of the mouth of the false prophet. And you could say radical Islam if you please, but it's still Islamic power. And these three are together, functioning together, which I believe they are now. You can just look at the news and you will see how they are functioning together. You'll see that they are a wicked trinity, that the papal system is quite happy, the present pope is quite happy with Islam. You will find, because if you see only a while ago, it wasn't very long ago, that this present pope visited Saudi Arabia and met the main imam, and they rolled out the red carpet for him, and they were signing some kind of concordant together. Remember, not this pope, but the previous pope also loved the Muslims. I mean, you have to love people, but you don't love their system. He kissed the Quran. And so we see that this has been happening, building up more and more until this present day. United Nations, papal system, and Islam. And when these three come together, which is what they have done, then something happens. The deception gets even greater, and three unclean spirits come out of the mouth of each. And this is their purpose, for they are the spirits of devils, working miracles, which go forth to the kings or the leaders of the earth, and of the whole world, to gather them to the battle of that great day of God Almighty. Now, it's important to note that in October this year, 2020, Pope Francis is calling for all global leaders of all different fields and walks of life to come to the Vatican. He's issued a personal invitation for them to come to the Vatican. And if you watch his speech, you will see that he actually tells you what the purpose of that meeting is. And the purpose of that meeting is to educate, according to Pope Francis and the Vatican, to educate the next generation of young people in how to live in the global village. So he's calling all these people together, people from all different walks of life, whether it's sports, whether it's medicine, doctors, pharmacy, all different people who have leading positions in society, in all walks of life, to come to the Vatican in October. Could not this be the beginning of the release of these three devils, evil spirits, going out into all the world and then deceiving the nations? Because as all these leaders gather together and Pope Francis gives his discourse and describes to them exactly what he believes the world should do, and to train the next generation of people, the young people, into how to live in a global village. In fact, he used a particular phrase from an African proverb. He said this: there's an African proverb that says it takes a whole village to educate one child. We need to be aware. So I made this video just to call your attention to these two verses in Revelation chapter 16. Could this possibly be the time when these devils are released from these three major superpowers: United Nations, Papal System, and indeed Islamic